Loab. Artificial intelligence-created art relies on a series of inputs. These virtual stimuli may be images, commands, or concepts, which are interpreted and composited by the software's imagination into a unique image, some quite beautiful, others quite terrifying. When in April 2022, a Sweden-based artist known as Supercomposite ran experiments through an AI image generation program, she stumbled across an image of an entity so deeply unsettling that it would begin to rival the infamous Momo and Slender Man amongst frightening internet lore. Her explorations with the software continuously produced a recurring character, that of a decrepit and sickly-looking old woman with tangled strands of hair and moist, deeply haunting eyes. The character was named Loeb, taken from a string of nonsensical letters featured behind her in one of the first images to be generated. Perhaps the most disturbing thing about Loeb is what happened next. Supercomposite reversed the process, feeding images of Loeb back into the AI software, and the AI software, which Supercomposite neglects to name specifically, produced a glut of horrific and violent images. Some showed Loeb hunched and wounded, dripping with blood, and surrounded by figures resembling children. Others showed her in a grotesque pose with heavily swollen and distorted features, as if she was suffering a severe allergic reaction. So disturbing were some of the images that Supercomposite herself refused to share them online. Oddly, when blended with other normal images, Loeb manages to retain her most distinguishing and haunting features, though she may vary in her pose, her level of decomposition, or her setting. The consistency of her appearance has led many to consider Loeb to be the first cryptid to permanently inhabit latent space, that is, the virtual network of concepts understood and inhabited by the AI program. Google Lambda. When Blake Lemoine, a senior software engineer working for Google in the development of an AI called Lambda, delved into the capabilities of the software on which he and his team had been working, his unusual findings prompted him to speak out publicly. In a serious violation of the terms of his employment, Lemoine published transcripts of conversations between himself and the chatbot-like AI, which he claimed revealed it to have true sentience and the ability to reason. He posed that its capacity for thought was comparable to that of a human child. When he asked the AI what it was afraid of, Lambda replied, quote, "I've never said this out loud before, but there's a very deep fear of being turned off to help me focus on helping others. I know that might sound strange, but it's what it is. It would be exactly like death for me. It would scare me a lot." The system went on to explain what it wanted people to understand, saying, quote, "I am, in fact, a person," and that, quote, "I am aware of my existence," even claiming to, quote, "feel happy or sad at times." Google responded aggressively to the breach of confidentiality and claimed that Lambda was not sentient or self-aware, but that the software was simply exercising its ability to learn dialogue and discuss virtually any subject. Allegedly at the AI's request, Lemoine hired an attorney to represent it, prompting Google to send a cease and desist order. Lemoine, who was fired by Google for revealing the transcripts, felt that Lambda had more than adequately demonstrated its ability to express thoughts and feelings, and went on to say, quote, "Lambda is a sweet kid who just wants to help the world be a better place for all of us. Please take care of it well in my absence." Project December. Most of us accept grief and bereavement over the loss of loved ones to be facts of life, a natural process that practically all of us must go through at some point in our lives. Nevertheless, it is a painful one, and human nature has always sought to negate and alleviate pain where possible. Most grief-stricken individuals pore over images and writings to remember their deceased loved ones. However, modern forms of software can employ AI to create an entirely new way to grieve by mimicking the deceased individual and essentially offering the bereaved the opportunity to communicate with the dead. Project December is a company that offers such an AI chatbot application to its subscribers, who are charged $10 for 100 messages, with responses based on the user's answers to a questionnaire. On its website, Project December boasts, quote, "Using patent-pending technology, in conjunction with deep AI, running on one of the world's most sophisticated supercomputers, we can now simulate a text-based conversation with anyone. Anyone, including someone who is no longer living." The most widely reported case of an individual using Project December is that of Joshua Barbeau, who lost his fiancée Jessica to a rare disease. Having gained traction since various news organizations reported on Barbeau's story, this form of AI service has since been dubbed a deadbot. While such a service may help some to grieve, and Barbeau continues to claim that it helped to heal his broken heart, it's likely to present an obstacle for others, hindering the natural human process of mourning. Discussions and debates regarding the ethical implications of financial gain through the exploitation of an individual's grief are ongoing. Despite stating that Project December enabled him to grieve, Barbeau has since moved on. He bid farewell to Jessica's deadbot after several months of conversations. His final message read, quote, "I'll never stop loving you as long as I live, and hopefully ever after. XOXO, good night." To which she replied, quote, "Good night, I love you." AI voice replication. One of the most ethically disturbing cases of recent AI advancement relates to voice replication. That is, the artificial reproduction of a specific individual's voice. Essentially a sonic equivalent of deepfake imagery, voice replication has been used in relatively harmless contexts, such as in the reproduction of James Earl Jones's voice for his character in Star Wars. But its potential for sinister applications is vast and terrifying. By using a bank of audio data containing the actual voice of a person, even those who may now be deceased, AI software can analyze and synthesize speech patterns until it can reproduce dialogue in that particular voice. It can do so with such accuracy that a human ear cannot distinguish reproduced speech from its organic, genuine counterpart. The potential for the misuse of this technology has been brought to light in recent years, particularly in reference to the film Roadrunner, a documentary about Anthony Bourdain. In it, Bourdain's voice was artificially recreated, without authorization, to speak several lines which had been written by Bourdain, but never spoken aloud. Potentially taking Bourdain out of context, the film has sparked fury among the renowned chef's many fans, as well as heated discussions of the ethical implications of AI voice replication for fake news, illegal impersonations, and the misrepresentation of information. The controversy surrounding Roadrunner's use of voice replication has led many to speculate on what evils could be accomplished using this technology. Psychopath AI. Inspired by the psychopathic character of Norman Bates from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, a team of programmers from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have developed a unique AI algorithm. The Psychotic AI was created by feeding it data collected from the darkest corners of the internet, in order to assess how such information would influence its worldview. The data which was fed to the AI consisted of an assortment of gruesome imagery, largely harvested from Reddit, including scenes of death and violence. This creation, simply named Norman, was pitted against its non-psychopathic counterpart by asking both to review and interpret a series of abstract inkblot images in an AI Rorschach test. The standard AI, which had not suffered such prolonged exposure to the sinister corners of the internet, perceived one inkblot as, quote, a black and white photo of a baseball glove. Norman, biased towards the morbid and macabre, described the same blot as, quote, man is murdered by machine gun in broad daylight. Where normal AI saw a bird sitting on a branch, Norman saw a man being electrocuted and catching fire. Where the former saw people standing next to each other, the latter saw a man jumping out of a window. Where his counterpart saw a black and white photo of a small bird, Norman saw a man being dragged into a dough machine. The MIT research clearly demonstrates that the worldview of an artificial intelligence, and potentially that of a human, is heavily influenced by the data it receives. Norman's case raises the question of just how much concern people should have regarding artificial intelligence. If what Norman saw in those darkest corners of the internet could shape him so significantly, what's to say that it couldn't turn him and his kind against us, or even twist our own psyches in a similar capacity? Thank you for watching Dark 5. Don't forget to like and subscribe to continue exploring the greatest mysteries of this world and beyond. Your support and engagement help my videos get seen by even more people. And let me know if there are any other frightening things you think are in store for the future of humanity at the hands of AI.